South Park knew the state of the entertainment industry when they dunked on Disney and every company that's been focusing on DEI, and while we don't expect them to change their ways, they are just quadrupling down yet again because now Marvel has killed Moon Knight and replaced him with a black female lesbian. I have a few different things that I want to show off, but before we get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, follow me on social media, and consider supporting through Patreon or via YouTube memberships. So, as you can see, Marvel has killed Moon Knight, issue 30 leaks. There is nothing that could be done by Marvel at this point that would surprise me. I'm just constantly disappointed and disappointed because I used to love comic books. I used to love Marvel. But unfortunately, of course, over the years, they have just deteriorated the state of their characters, their stories, everything with the company. And it says you can't make this up, as now Marvel Comics has killed Moon Knight and replaced him with a black female lesbian who also happens to be Mark Spector's receptionist. You cannot make this up. Oh, what did you do before you became Moon Knight? Yeah, I was a receptionist. Like, this is the character you thought that people really wanted to read about? Now, of course, as I talk about all of the time, things like diversity and inclusivity, they're not inherently bad things. Like, having a black female character would not be the end of the world. The issue is that that is all these characters that these Marvel writers, DC writers, all of these writers are coming up with. They think that that is the only thing that matters, are a character's gender, skin color, and sexuality. And those are the only things that those characters have about them. They're not like these deep, meaningful, introspective characters. They're just simply identities, and that's all you have to view them as. And it's sad because yes, a sexuality is a big part of a character, but that is the only defining factor that these characters have now. It says the pages and ending to next week's Moon Knight number 30 have leaked online, and to catch you up to speed, Moon Knight and his team have been attempting to stop the Black Spectre and Zodiac from unleashing a weapon upon New York City that will make people insane. Issue 29 sees Moon Knight stopping the Black Spectre, and then the real big bad is revealed. The end of the issue shows Plesko shooting Moon Knight, who has already been beaten down in previous fights, and now he's just dead. Yes, the leaked pages have revealed that Moon Knight has indeed died. His companions and friends confirm his death and say how much it hurts that he's no longer out. Oh no, his work is our work now, and our work never ends. That's so sad. I mean, it could be sad, but then you immediately go on to replace him with a character nobody cares about. The last page reveals Moon Knight's friends as part of the team and will continue as the Midnight Mission, but it's never that simple, because it says, "Welcome to the Midnight Mission. My name's Reese. How can we help?" says the vampire character who is dressed as Moon Knight. You know, what is so hilarious about this is that they did exactly what Cartman said they did. It is the most hilarious part out of all of this. Put a chick in it, make her lame, make her gay, and they truly think that this is what is going to bring in audiences. People who purchase Moon Knight and comics in totality aren't looking for this, but it's like these writers are so desperate to win the wokies, they're willing to sacrifice the audience they have, even though those individuals don't show up to buy product. And it has been proven time and time and time again. I am a woman who has loved Moon Knight in the past, and I would never lay my hands on this. I would never monetarily support this garbage. Again, I'm fine with seeing, black characters in media. I'm fine with seeing women in media. I'm fine with seeing lesbians in media, but they have the trifecta of bullshit here, and they think that that is really going to sell people on a comic book. That's just not going to happen. It says, who is Reese? Reese is a citizen of Manhattan who was turned into a vampire. Mark Spector saves her where she began to work at Moon Knight's congregation, the Midnight Mission, as a receptionist. I'm sorry. That is just the most hilarious part to me, is that she was a receptionist. From receptionist to Moon Knight? I mean, that is one crazy, crazy pipeline. And EVS even reacted to this. The first leak surfaced on EVS's channel. Hey Ethan, I emailed you pages to next week's Moon Knight when Mark Spector is killed. The final page reveals the new Moon Knight. Yes, it's real. And then Van Skyver laughed and said, oh no, the new Moon Knight, ladies and gentlemen, a black lesbian, hooray! I don't think that there are any comic book fans out there, anybody who has ever even touched a comic book, that has gone, you know what? I think Marvel needs a black, female, lesbian Moon Knight. It just sounds so insane having to say this out loud. And of course, over the years, we have seen Marvel and even DC gender and race swap many characters, out with the old, in with the new, in with the progressive. Here's just a handful that have been swapped in the MCU, and this was still a list from 2020. Even recently we had Dar-Ben gender and race swap, but then we have the Ancient One from Doctor Strange, great character. I personally think that Tilda Swinton did a pretty good job with this character, but it is one of the extremely few instances where I could say, oh, a gender swapped paid off. I mean, I think that a male could have played this character perfectly as well, but I think that Tilda Swinton brings such a unique edge to the characters that she plays that she did a pretty good job. But again, one of the extremely few instances. We have Ghost from Ant-Man. We have Marvel, which was a giant issue, of course, in Captain Marvel, and they followed that trend with the Marvels by, gender swapping Dar-Ben. We have Makari in Eternals. Yeah, whatever happened to Eternals? Oh yeah, that's right. They threw the most diverse, inclusive team of characters together, thinking that it was going to shatter records and that people were going to pick up on the Eternals and think that they're the new Avengers. They made, all of these characters, or at least most of them, extremely different from their comic counterparts. And, well, that didn't pay off, since the Eternals have been referenced, I think, twice in the MCU currently, and the only times were in, newspaper clippings and on the radio. Yeah, that definitely turned out well. You also have Sprite, Sprite is one of the characters in Eternals, Ajax, I mean, the list goes on, and 95% of these characters were heavily criticized because they were race and gender swapped. Nobody wants to, again, read a Moon Knight, and the thing they are trying to capture people with is the fact that you completely threw away a version of this character that people liked in order to bring in a more inclusive and diverse version of, in this case, Moon Knight, but there have been many instances of this happening over the years, and it's just so sad to see, right? Because the Moon Knight show was actually a big hit with people, so it seems like this was very deliberate, that they knew that that show did pretty good, so they figured, you know what, why don't we try to, rake people together and, rope them in, and then we have this series going, and then right at the end we do this big twist, we kill off Moon Knight, we replace Mark Spector, and that's just not what people wanted. It's just a sad day to be a comic book fan, a comic book reader. But then again, the past few years, it has been extremely hard to be a comic reader. This is why I support independent comics. I do not support the mainstream anymore, simply because this is the absolute garbage they are releasing. I'm a woman, and I do not want to read about a black female lesbian who happened to be a receptionist, because that is just not what I am interested in at all whatsoever. And obviously, I don't think that many of you out there are very interested in it either. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this and of course found it important and informative, make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.